Born into the grandeur of Amenhotep III's reign, Nefermat grew up in Thebes, a city bursting with temples, markets, and festivals. From his earliest days, Nefermat displayed a rare blend of curiosity and discipline. The son of Intef, a devout high priest of Amun, and Hanut, a noble woman from Memphis, he embodied the duality of Egypt's spiritual and administrative worlds. Hanut was not content with him merely learning priestly rites. She frequently brought him to the bustling administrative hubs of Memphis to witness the intricate workings of Egyptian bureaucracy. By the age of 8, young Nefermat had already memorized sacred hymns and could recite the Hymn to Amun to the awe of temple scribes. While most children his age played, he immersed himself in the study of hieroglyphics, combat training, and statecraft. His father often emphasized the importance of Ma'at, the cosmic order binding gods and humans. Without balance, even the mightiest of empires will crumble, Intef would remind him. Nefermat was not shielded from hardship. On visits to the granaries during famine years, he saw firsthand how shortages could disrupt lives. He asked probing questions of elders, learning the connections between governance, agriculture, and the divine blessings of the Nile. It was during one of these visits that he encountered Amosi, a former soldier turned farmer, who shared harrowing stories of battles fought and homes lost. This exposure left a profound mark on Nefermat, deepening his empathy for the common people and shaping his views on justice and leadership. At the age of 14, Nefermat's mettle was tested during a rebellion at Karnak. The unrest began when laborers, unpaid and hungry, rose against their overseers. Their anger simmered until it erupted into chaos. Nefermat's father sought to mediate, but was overpowered by the crowd's fury. Stepping forward, Nefermat took command of the situation. Standing before the mob, his voice cut through the clamor. Ma'at is absent where chaos thrives, he declared. With the symbolic staff of his father, he promised fair treatment and used temple granaries to distribute food immediately. He then pledged gold from his family's wealth to pay their overdue wages. This swift, decisive action not only quelled the rebellion, but also cemented his reputation as the son of Ma'at. As he grew older, Nefermat's reputation as a natural leader spread. He spent his teenage years not just in the temple, but also in military training. Under the tutelage of General Horemheb, he learned battlefield strategy, the art of negotiation, and the value of adaptability. The general's harsh lessons were often painful, but Nefermat's resolve only grew stronger. His swordsmanship became renowned among his peers, and he earned the respect of seasoned soldiers despite his youth. His connection with the people of Thebes also deepened. He would often walk the streets in plain linen, conversing with merchants, artisans, and laborers. By listening to their grievances, he gained insight into the struggles of daily life. One notable friendship was with Kay, a disabled stonemason who had been injured in a quarry accident. Despite his misfortune, Kay's wisdom and humor left a lasting impression on Nefermat, who later advocated for better protections and medical care for workers in dangerous trades. At the age of 17, Nefermat underwent the rites of Sekhmet, an initiation ceremony for those destined for positions of leadership. The trial required him to spend 7 nights alone in the desert, fasting and communing with the gods. Each night, he faced a symbolic challenge. Visions of serpents, storms, and ancestral spirits, all meant to test his mental fortitude. On the final night, he claimed to have seen a vision of the goddess Ma'at herself, who bestowed upon him a scarab amulet as a token of divine favor. This story became the subject of temple murals, and the scarab remained a constant presence on his person, in the years that followed. By the time he reached 20, Nefermat's name was spoken with reverence in both Thebes and Memphis. He had become a trusted advisor to Pharaoh Amenhotep III, offering insight on matters of diplomacy and resource management. During one particularly tense council meeting regarding trade negotiations with Nubia, Nefermat's proposal for a mutually beneficial grain-for-gold exchange was met with unanimous approval. This negotiation not only bolstered Egypt's economy, but also solidified his reputation as a master strategist. It was around this time that he met Meritamen, a priestess of Hathor and skilled weaver from a modest family. Their unlikely friendship blossomed into a profound romance. Her spiritual background, grounded perspective, and sharp mind served as a counterbalance to his lofty ambitions. Their love story became a symbol of unity across social classes, inspiring ballads sung in taverns and courtly halls alike. The transition from Amenhotep III to Akhenaten brought upheaval. Akhenaten's devotion to Aten, a singular sun god, upended traditional worship. Temples to Amun-Ra were closed, and their priests cast aside. Nefermaat, then a young warrior stationed at Thebes, found himself navigating a kingdom divided by faith and politics. While Akhenaten's focus was on his new capital at Akhetaten, Thebes faced growing unrest. Nefermaat frequented the desecrated temples, standing amidst ruins where incense once burned for the gods. Privately, he vowed to restore the balance when his time came. These moments of reflection deepened his conviction in Ma'at, the principle of cosmic order, which he saw as being under threat. His presence in the broken temples became a symbolic act of quiet rebellion, inspiring whispers among temple scribes and displaced priests. His military career during this period further solidified his status as a leader. Tasked with protecting Egypt's southern border, he led multiple campaigns against Nubian incursions, demonstrating both strategic acumen and a willingness to engage diplomatically when it served Egypt's interests. One notable encounter involved a standoff with a Nubian chieftain, Seker Kai. Instead of engaging in battle, Nefermat offered an alternative, a treaty ensuring trade routes remained open in exchange for shared resources. This decision not only secured a vital economic link, but also established a precedent for diplomacy over conflict. These victories earned him the respect of soldiers and citizens alike, with his name becoming synonymous with wisdom and strength. His military prowess was not limited to defensive campaigns. Recognizing the growing threat posed by desert raiders, Nefermat devised a new strategy, the Phalanx of Ma'at. This military formation relied on tightly coordinated units of soldiers with overlapping shields, emphasizing unity and precision. The tactic proved so effective that it was later adopted by other generals, becoming a staple of Egyptian warfare for years to come. The success of this strategy further elevated Nefermat's status among the ranks of the military elite. The death of Akhenaten left a power vacuum that Tutankhamun, merely a child, struggled to fill. As factions vied for influence, Nefermat emerged as a unifying figure. Recognizing the need for stability, the priesthood and nobility saw in him a bridge between Egypt's fractured spiritual and administrative worlds. His connection to both the military and the priesthood positioned him as a candidate with broad support. To solidify his position, he married Meritamen, a priestess of Hathor, blending religious legitimacy with political alliance. Their union was celebrated throughout Thebes, with processions and offerings made at the Temple of Hathor to mark the auspicious occasion. Despite the growing support, Nefermat's path to power was not without resistance. Loyalists to the Atenist regime saw him as a threat to their influence. Attempts to undermine his legitimacy surfaced, with accusations that he sought to undo Akhenaten's reforms. several conspiracies were thwarted, including a foiled attempt to assassinate him at a public gathering in Memphis. This event only strengthened his resolve, leading him to establish a network of informants within key city centers. The effort paid off, as several plots were exposed before they could come to fruition. When the moment finally arrived, Nefermaat was crowned at Karnak, an event steeped in symbolism. The ceremony was marked by grand processions, offerings to Maat, and the relighting of incense in long-abandoned temples. Standing before the gathered priests, soldiers, and nobles, he took the throne name that reflected his mission. Beautiful is the justice of Maat. His first decree as pharaoh was a symbolic one: the official reopening of the grand temple of Amun-Ra in Thebes, signaling the restoration of the old order. Priests wept openly, and the people chanted his name, seeing in him the hope of a return to stability and divine favor. The rise of Nefermaat was not merely a story of political ambition, but one of destiny fulfilled. His journey from a boy immersed in the teachings of Maat to a warrior diplomat and, finally, a pharaoh committed to justice, exemplified the ideals he championed. His ascension to power was seen as the triumph of balance over chaos, a living testament to the power of Maat. As pharaoh, Nefermaat understood the urgency of healing the divisions that plagued Egypt after Akhenaten's tumultuous reign. His actions spoke of both pragmatism and reverence, cementing his place as one of the great restorers of Egypt's spiritual and political order. Nefermaat's first priority was the reinstatement of traditional worship, beginning with the reopening of temples dedicated to Amun. At Karnak, he spearheaded a massive restoration project, employing thousands of displaced artisans to repair the temples desecrated during Akhenaten's monotheistic fervor. Beyond physical restoration, Nefermaat revitalized the priesthood, introducing reforms to ensure accountability and reduce corruption. The high priests of Amun, once estranged from political power, became integral to his administration, serving as spiritual advisors and governors of temple estates. In Luxor, the monumental colonnade he commissioned bore inscriptions not only of prayers, but also of his personal philosophy. Each column depicted scenes of Nefermaat in dialogue with Maat, emphasizing his role as the divine intermediary. By placing Maat at the forefront of his reign, he reaffirmed Egypt's spiritual foundations. The Opet festival, which Nefermaat revived with unparalleled grandeur, became a centerpiece of national unity. The procession of gilded barks through Thebes was accompanied by weeks of feasting, music, and games. Farmers, laborers, and nobles alike participated, creating a rare moment of communal joy. Nefermaat himself walked alongside the barks, barefoot and unadorned, a gesture of humility that endeared him to his people. Nefermaat's military campaigns were marked by both innovation and restraint. His strategy against the Libyans, blending cunning and precision, became the stuff of legend. The canyon ambush, later immortalized in temple reliefs, was not merely a tactical victory, but a demonstration of his understanding of psychological warfare. Libyan captives were treated with dignity, and many were later integrated into Egyptian society as laborers and soldiers, fostering loyalty and reducing future threats. His dealings with the Hittites were a masterclass in diplomacy. Aware of the fragile peace, Nefermaat pursued a policy of calculated generosity, sending lavish gifts to Hittite courts while maintaining a formidable military presence near the borders. The resulting truce allowed Egypt to focus on internal development, ensuring the kingdom's prosperity. Nefermaat's reign saw unprecedented economic growth. Trade routes to Punt and Byblos flourished under his stewardship, bringing a wealth of goods that funded his ambitious projects. By emphasizing the importance of agricultural stability, he initiated land redistribution policies that empowered small farmers. These reforms not only reduced the risk of famine, but also strengthened his support among the peasantry, who viewed him as a pharaoh of the people. The pharaoh's interest in resource management extended to mining. Expeditions to Sinai yielded vast quantities of turquoise, while Nubian quarries provided gold and granite for his building projects. Nefermaat established worker villages near these sites, complete with medical facilities and shrines, ensuring the well-being of his labor force. Granaries constructed during his reign became symbols of his foresight. During drought years, these reserves ensured that no family went hungry, further solidifying his legacy as a just ruler. He also commissioned irrigation projects that expanded arable land, leaving a lasting impact on Egypt's agricultural landscape. The stability Nefermaat brought to Egypt ignited a cultural renaissance. Artisans were encouraged to innovate while honoring traditional styles. Temples and tombs from his reign are marked by intricate reliefs and vibrant colors, showcasing a blend of realism and divine symbolism. Poets and scribes flourished under his patronage, producing hymns and epics that celebrated his achievements and the virtues of Ma'at. Nefermaat's philosophy was deeply rooted in the teachings of Ma'at: justice, balance, and truth. His speeches often invoked the image of a scale, with justice weighing evenly on both sides. He ordered reforms to ensure tax collectors were held accountable and sought to establish a council of commoners who could petition the temple courts. In his later years, Nefermaat focused on building a sustainable model of rulership. He established a council of advisors that included not only priests and generals, but also representatives of commoners, ensuring a balanced administration. His commitment to Ma'at remained unwavering throughout his reign, influencing every decision and reform he enacted. Nefermaat's marriage to Meritamen was integral to his reign. Meritamen acted not only as a wife, but also as a steadfast advisor and participant in his governance. Often depicted alongside Nefermaat in temple reliefs, she embodied the ideal of harmony and balance, serving as a spiritual counterweight to his political authority. She was instrumental in fostering relationships with the priesthood, which strengthened the dynasty's foundation during tumultuous times. Their 4 children reflected the diversity and strength of the dynasty's ambitions. Sekhem, the eldest, shadowed his father on military campaigns, mastering the intricacies of battlefield strategy and statecraft. His leadership was crucial in defending the borders and maintaining internal stability, preparing him to ascend the throne as a capable ruler. Neferet, their daughter, broke traditional barriers by becoming a revered high priestess of Isis, promoting temple reforms and rituals that revitalized Egypt's spiritual life. Jehutimos, the second son, earned his reputation as a brilliant commander, leading Egypt's armies to decisive victories that secured critical trade routes. Finally, Iset, the youngest, became Egypt's first prominent royal chronicler. Her detailed accounts of her father's reign, written on papyri and inscribed on temple walls, ensured that his deeds and philosophy were immortalized for generations to come. In his twilight years, Nefermaat focused on constructing his tomb in the Valley of the Kings. More than a burial site, it was a testament to his reign, adorned with vibrant frescoes depicting his journey through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, and his ultimate unification with Osiris. Every element of the tomb's design symbolized his commitment to Ma'at, from the carved scenes of cosmic balance to inscriptions of hymns invoking eternal harmony. The later years of Nefermaat's reign were marked by a devastating plague that swept through the Nile Valley, sparing neither noble nor commoner. Despite his advisors' pleas to isolate himself in the palace, Nefermaat remained accessible to his people, overseeing relief efforts and temple offerings to appease the gods. His unwavering dedication to Ma'at and his people during this crisis solidified his legacy as a selfless and just ruler. When the plague finally claimed Nefermaat, Egypt plunged into mourning. His funeral rites were elaborate, spanning 70 days and involving rituals performed by the priesthood of Amun, Isis, and Osiris. Delegations from across the known world, including Nubia, Punt, and the Hittite Empire, arrived bearing tributes, a testament to Nefermaat's far-reaching influence. The burial procession itself was a grand spectacle, with priests, soldiers, and commoners participating to pay homage to the pharaoh who had restored Egypt's balance and prosperity. Nefermaat's burial chamber was sealed with offerings of food, gold, and artifacts, intended to sustain him in the afterlife. Hymns sung by the priesthood echoed the themes of his life: justice, balance, and unity, ensuring his name would be remembered as a guiding light for future generations. His legacy endured not just in monuments and inscriptions, but in the collective memory of Egypt, where he was celebrated as a ruler who truly embodied Ma'at.